It's the fight game. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and I guess we should start with the fights over the weekend. And we saw. I'm going to save this question until after we talk about the fights because I don't want to turn any viewers away if they're Canelo fans. But anywho, there was a couple of fights. I, we're not going to start with the Canelo fight, but Danny Garcia. He was fighting Lara, and I thought Danny Garcia would have a better showing. It just seems like he just doesn't have it in him anymore. So, what are your thoughts about that fight, man?
Yeah, no, I think there's something going on with Danny Garcia. I know he tried, he's had a long layoff boxing. The other part that I thought would cause issues is the fact that he moved up in weight, right? Moved up in weight and his inactivity as far as throwing in the ring. You know, he has those lulls of rounds where he doesn't really throw a lot. He's not first. And then slowly but surely, the opponent accumulates rounds. And that's all Laura did. I mean, for a while, people were booing because of a lot of inactivity with Danny Garcia just backing up, and not really engaging until Lara like kind of stepped up. And then third round, maybe say third round, moving on, Lara saw that he was just not going to do anything. So he started snapping his jab at him. And as he did that, as he moved forward even more because he knew Danny Garcia wasn't going to throw anything back. And eventually he didn't really hit him with a shot, but it was almost like it wasn't a what you thought was a stunning shot, right?
No, it didn't seem that way.
Yeah, it didn't seem that way, but it was like, okay, that's enough. I'm done. And his dad tried to motivate him. I mean, you can tell that his dad's a lot more humble, overcoming. I think he had like a heart attack or something to that effect. Or he had some type of major illness. His dad was just glad to be there to support him, and he was like in the corner was asking him, "Are you okay?"
Yeah,
And Danny Garcia just kind of just had a blank look, like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready." He said, "You got to do this." But his dad was just like, "You know what? Whatever he wants to do, I'll be here for him." But it was sad just to kind of see him like that because we don't want to. I don't want to, harp on that mental illness thing that he's gone has been through. I think he's a champion for that. But they kept asking him that question as to, why didn't you do more? And he's like, dude, I tried.
yeah,
And I think that's all you can ask. He's like, yeah, what else you want me to do? I think he realized I've done enough. I have money. I thought I could do it, and it didn't work.
yeah.
That should not be something that you just go, oh, you suck, you're horrible. No, you're a two-time champion. Walk away, bro. Walk away. I mean, seriously, if it's not there for you, particularly at that weight, because 154, if you're not coming in banging, you
Yeah,
can get hurt.
yeah. That's a tough division to fight in right there. And it just seemed when I was watching him, I'm thinking he's gonna make this comeback. He's gonna, do. And then you start watching him, and round after round, it's like, nah, he's not the same fighter that he was. And if he decides to walk away, he shouldn't hold his head down at all. I mean, he's one of the top fighters for a long time. And if it's not there, it's not there. You just can't force it. So
Yeah, let's make sure though we give Laura credit.
yeah,
41 years old, Laura still can maneuver. I mean, he wasn't super fantastic, but he's never been really that exciting because of his style. But he has a way of understanding what's going. He's a magnificent boxer.
yeah,
He just is, even at 41. And at that point, it'd be interesting to see who he fights next. You could see somebody like maybe Errol Spence Jr. Maybe want to try to take a shot at that because he needs to try to figure out what's next for him. But I still think that would be a good fight because Lara's not he may not be the most effective puncher. He's trying to get a little bit more uh, stronger and a little bit more aggressive as he's older, but he's still a tough out.
yeah,
Some people still to this day say they thought he won that Canelo fight. So yeah.
yeah. And so he retains the middleweight belt, the WBA. And so the fight that I saw also that I thought his opponent was kind of getting the best of him, but Plant turned it on. He retains or wins the WBA interim super middleweight belt, and he was kind of showboating a little bit, showing out in front of his kid and his wife. And so, where do you see Caleb Plant going after this particular fight?
Well, first of all, gotta give much credit to Trevor McCumbee.
Yeah.
Because it was almost, people were acting like he was a joke. Guy was undefeated. When you look at his record and his resume, you didn't really see any major names on there. So you're like, oh, here's another opportunity for Plant to do whatever. But early on, it's what they say back in the neighborhood, talk about how strong the dude was, like he country strong.
Yeah.
This dude, he hit Caleb Plant, McCumbee that is, with a couple body shots. Hit him one time in the arm,
And
and he
knocked
went down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, man, he was country strong, and he was challenging Caleb Plant. And I think later on, Caleb Plant's experience, his ring savvy, really played a major part where he started to feel himself because he started to say, hey, I've been a champion. I know what it's like. This guy doesn't have that ringmanship, and I'm gonna unload on him. And I think he did that later on, and he started dancing and oh, I'm looking pretty and everything. But do not be confused that McCombie was no chump. He brought it. He fought a hell of a fight, and he was throwing some bombs. And even though he was getting, he got rocked later on by Plant, but he was still right there. So, and I think Caleb Plant had to give him respect and kudos because the guy was right there. And if he wants to continue fighting, I think he gives some other people some major problems in that division. Maybe not on the highest level, but somewhere in between, he could be a problem for some other people.
All right. Let's go to the fight. Canelo versus Berlanga. And I have to admit, after like the fourth or fifth round, I kind of got bored with it because I'm like, okay, here we go again with another opponent that looks like a sparring match. And so I know a lot of people paid a lot of money for this fight, and people I think were robbed with a $90 pay-per-view fight for a sparring match. And so one of the things that I saw, Canelo is a hell of a fighter. I got to give him that. But I don't think he can claim that he's the best or the greatest ever because he's not fighting the competition. Even when I was checking social media, folks were saying, I even put on a post that, who's next for Carnelo? I'm like, somebody we never heard of and never saw before. Because I can't find this guy in the rankings. And, no disrespect to this guy. He said he was fighting a legend, things of that sort. But personally, I'm not watching another Canelo fight unless he fights, the top contenders or somebody that can give him a run for his money. Because what we've been seeing with Canelo, other than the Bivol fight, he doesn't want any more Bivols. He wants to do sparring matches. He wants to be out there in front of the people. He wants to beat his chest like he's the best. And in order to beat the best, you got to beat the best. And for me, I'm not wasting any more time watching Canelo fights unless he's going to fight somebody that is in that top 10 or top 3 or top 5 because it's really just not worth the time or money to really kind of watch his fights. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the fight. I think overall, you mentioned about a sparring match. I'm gonna give Berlanga a little bit more credit than that.
I do give him credit. He did, fight as best
Yeah,
he could.
yeah. He's a strong puncher, and he was not backing down. The other part too, he did not run,
He did
and
not run.
he
He's
did
better
not
than
run.
Charlo.
He did not run. That's why I'm throwing this at you. He did not run. He gave a hell of a performance, and he was banging Canelo. But also from Canelo's standpoint, usually Canelo is slow, takes his time. This time, starting off from the beginning, he went after him, and the young man was backing up, but it was shot for shot. And as Canelo said, you say I fight old fighters, fought somebody young, and he was throwing a lot of haymakers in action. I will give him credit for moving forward, taking the fight to the young man, and the young man was throwing punches back. Canelo was taking a lot of leather early on. Some people say they thought he lost a step. I wouldn't say that. I think when you choose to fight a certain kind of way and you come forward and the person has the ability to throw bombs back, you're gonna get hit. So I'm not saying he was amazing or anything like that, or Canelo that is, but I will say he took the fight to him and the young man gave all he had. I think that young man Berlanga can cause some problems for some other people because some of them shots he was throwing, could knock some other folks out. So, you know,
Yeah, and no disrespect to Berlinga. I just didn't think he was ready at this particular time in his career to step up and fight Canelo. Maybe a couple of more years, 3 more years. I mean, Canelo might be out during that time, but I didn't feel like this is not the fight we wanted. This is not the fight we wanted, and that's why I kept telling folks. Folks were texting me, "It's like, here we go again." And, I spent all this money. I'm like, stop spending the money if you just want to see sparring matches. But taking nothing away from Berlinga, I just think that he wasn't ready for this. This is his first, shot at the title. What did he do to get to this point to get his first shot at the title? And you can't justify that. You really can't justify it. Where other folks have been doing it, Canelo's not even looking their way. So either you're a coward or you want to tank your legacy. Because when I look at great fighters, when I'm talking about great fighters, they never turn down a fight against other great fighters. Fought them 2 or 3 times. And so I don't even have to name them. You can name them. Fought great fighters. Great fighters fight each other to build their legacy. I don't know what Canelo is doing with his.
I received that and I understand it, but I'm gonna throw this at you. I think I've asked you this question before.
Yeah.
And it's not to give an excuse. My question to you though is gonna be this one. Who is out there for him to fight? And I'm gonna this is legit. I'm not trying to be funny, I'm just being straight up and down. When we are talking about, you mentioned about, and I agree with you, he should be fighting better competition. But I would ask myself that, I'm gonna throw myself in there too. Well, I would like to see that there was have a little dialogue to say, who is out there for him to fight? You can say Bivol, 175 took a chance. Is that really realistic? Let's say 168 down or wherever. Who is available? And please say David Benavidez. Please
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
So just please,
I think
please say that, and let's chop that up because my point, and I'm saying right now, let's be legit. Let's talk about who would be legit, so we can say, yeah, who this is who we think Canelo should face because we think they will at least provide him with a worthy challenge.
Benavidez. I mean, we've been screaming for that fight for a long time, and that's what people want to see. You look on social media. Why won't he fight this guy? That's the guy that everybody. That's the fight that everybody wants to see. A lot of people on social media want to see Crawford. Anybody but some of the folks he's been selecting that aren't ready for that level yet. So there are 2 guys that out there, Crawford and Benavidez. I think those are the ones, and it just seems like he's running away from them. And if that's the case, then they say that I don't want to fight them. Just say it. I have much more respect for you to say I don't want to fight them than just ignoring them altogether and then putting these $90 a fight sparring matches and calling yourself great. I miss me with that.
No, I get you. First of all, I want to talk about Benavidez. And granted, I know as everybody wants to see, but in a way, I'm kind of in the Canelo camp. And what I mean by that is why I can see why he wouldn't fight him is, first of all, you want to make like this guy's a great conqueror. David Benavidez had 2 opportunities where he was champion and he squandered them both. Now we're calling for him to be, oh, you got to fight. Canelo has to fight this guy. Okay, he went up to 175. That wasn't his cup of tea. Now he keeps trying to be great, which is amazing. Talking about trying to fight the winner of the Bivol fight, right? But my thing is this, though. The reason why I think Canelo does not want to fight Benavidez, he don't respect him. He doesn't respect him. And I don't think that he's scared or he doesn't want to run away from him. But I do think one thing I will agree with Canelo on about the Benavidez fight. If you want to see the fight, what's my man over there from over across the pond that's controlling all the purse strings now? Put out the money, bro. Pay the man. Pay the man. So
All right.
I think Canelo will fight him if you give him the money because you're paying everybody else to come over there. Pay the man, whatever it is. It's there has to be, like we say, everybody got a price.
Yeah. But there are a lot of fighters who didn't respect other fighters, but they still fought.
Right, but I'm with you. But my point to you is, what has David Benavidez done to make you go, oh, these guys to be the guy?
Put him in the ring and let's see. Put Crawford
Right,
away. Let's see. Let's see.
but I'm with you. I agree with you. I'm not saying I don't want to see the fight, but we're acting for many people to act like, oh, he deserves it. Okay, he had opportunities. He squandered them. He squandered them from drugs to potential all the other stuff. He squandered them, and that's Canelo's like, you're a joke. You don't need to take it seriously. I'll fight you, but in order for me to fight you, I need real conversation because I don't think it's that good. You're that good. But I get that. But now that Terrence Crawford fight, real quick. So the Terrence Crawford opportunity, yeah, everybody wants to see it. Can Terrence Crawford do it right? But again, watching Terrence Crawford for me at 154, this last fight, I mean, he's amazing. The guy he fought was kind of straightforward. He had a great strategy. They couldn't get over the hump. And I think the power of Terrence Crawford wasn't as strong as it was as it has been at 147 earlier. So now we're asking him to jump to 168. Hell of a boxer, has the moves, all the stuff that you want for the recipe that you think can beat Canelo, right? But I really believe jumping up 14 pounds, particularly if they meet at 168, is going to be a major problem. And as much as I like Terrence Crawford, I think that people are playing Canelo cheap. Like he don't have no power. And the one thing I'm really concerned with, and Terrence Crawford was amazing. Do I think he can possibly hang with Canelo and maybe give him for one and possibly win? Answer is yes. But the other part I have to say is though, jumping up 14 pounds, another 14 after the what is it, the other seven that you jump at 154. Now we're going to 114 more, and you think you're just gonna run through this dude? Like he'll let you get away? And sometimes Terrence Crawford, as much as I like him, has been suspect on defense. Can you take a Canelo punch?
Yeah, and we talked about this in our last episode. Folks, please check out our last episode. We talked about the possibility of Crawford fighting Canelo. But I mentioned earlier that the Canelo fight, I said, you know what? I don't want to watch a sparring match. So I went over to the UFC and saw Valentina in part three against Grasso. And Grasso and O'Malley lost their titles against two game fighters. Valentina took Grasso to the ground almost every round, if not every round, outboxed her, and it just seemed like she just neutralized Grasso. Marab, or Marab, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, neutralized Sean O'Malley. He just did not look like the same fighter, and he was taking O'Malley to the ground. I never really saw a fighter kind of take O'Malley to the ground the way his opponent did, and both were kind of taking the champions out of their game, out of their comfort zone, and it was beautiful to watch. The hand speed and fighting upright along with the ground game, and it was like a perfect combination from both. It was almost like they were both from the same camp, and they had the same game plan to beat the champions. Your thoughts on these fights?
Yeah, Valentina is one of the all-time greats. I just like her energy, the way she comes at everything, and she wanted to win that title. She wanted it back. She got it. Her opponent, who was the champion, was amazing. She's tough as heck too. But Valentina was just like, you know what? I will not be denied, and that's the way she fought, even risking being tapped out a couple times. Because I promise you, when
Yeah, I
she
thought
put
she was
her
gonna get
head
tapped
down
out. Yeah,
and her face turned different colors, I was like, is she ready to tap?
yeah, I
But
thought it. I thought it. Yeah,
several times you could just see she was in very difficult situations, but she overcame that adversity and she wanted it real bad. And I guess my question is now, what is she going to do? Is she going to stick around? Is she going to retire or whatever? I mean, of course, I would love for my girl to come back Nunez, but I don't think that's happening. So I love the Lioness. So I don't see that
she
happening.
enjoying
But
the
that's
family
one.
life too much.
Yeah, and that's fine. Happy for her. But I just want to know what Valentina's going to do next because I don't want to see that fight again. I think it was great to have a third, right? But we don't want to keep on and on and on. Be interested to see what else is going on. In regards to O'Malley, um, the opponent came at him really strong, and as you said, he fought the perfect fight. But I guess my question is, if they fought again, what would be the outcome? I'm not sure that. I think that the opponent had to fight the perfect fight, which I think he did against O'Malley. kind of like the perfect game plan, perfect fight, as you said, in order to win that fight. So my question is, would that be the same thing? And now, if they don't fight again, it'd be interesting to see what's next, the next step for O'Malley.
Now, something O'Malley showed me in that last round when he got to the body. If there was one more round, I think O'Malley would have took him out because when he touched him in the body a few times, you can just see the guy crumble. I mean, he touched him right on the spleen, I think, and he did it a few times, but it was too little, too late at that particular time. With one more round, I think it would have. It would have been a different story, and I bet the 4.5 rounds over. So made a little cash on the fight. Anywho, I got, like you said, I got a problem. Anywho, he's Icewater. I'm Puma, and this is the fight game. I like money.